right? So how do you deal with those two? So not worrying about what other people think of us, but then being very concerned about what devotees think of us in the sense that they will think kindly upon us. Mahat Sevam Dvaramahur Vimuktes. We make it the gates to the spiritual world open up to one who does Mahat Seva, who serves devotees. Um, so so that's another blissful not duality, but looking at things from two different points of view and how to and that we have to work on. Because I know for myself, I was just talking to a friend of mine just yesterday about this, that especially since I got this, I had a stroke, and I'm thinking that life is temporary, and becoming a little bit more aware of that, although we should read about it every day. But and just saying that, why should I waste any mental energy on worrying about what other people think about me? Why that is such a drain of energy, and not thinking of Krishna, and thinking of this instead, and how I'm trying to let go of that. Just let go of that, and just, because I guess for me, maybe for some good reasons, but mainly for bad reasons, I thought like that, I guess, because I run a project, ISKCON Resolve. And so if I'm seen in a bad life, then maybe this service is seen in a bad life, and this is an important service. That was the way I kind of worked that out in my mind. Um, but rationalized in my mind. But you know how to spell rationalize, right? Rational hyphen Lies. So we can lie to ourselves. Um, and there is a positive side about what other people think of us. Krishna says in the Gita in chapter 3, Yad Yad Acharati Shrestas, Tatare Vetarojana, that we are supposed to set an example for others. And that's saying, what you are speaks so loudly I can't hear what you're saying. So there's just a lot of considerations, uh, and what to do with all of this. The conclusion I came to is, mm, practice simplicity. Simplicity of the mind, not being simple-minded, but simplicity. Chant Hare Krishna and try not to think about anything else except Krishna when we're chanting. Read the Shastra, read the Bhagavatam, read the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just serve devotees, and avoid, at least again, a mental gymnast from Long Island, avoid mental gymnastics as much as possible. I'm going through the Bhagavatam right now, just reading the translations, just to kind of get the flow. I just I just read Lord Ramachandra's pastimes in the ninth canto. And what I've seen again and again, because in one sense, the Bhagavatam is telling the story, much of the cantos, telling the story of the history of the Manus. Right? That's what it is, the different Manus. Mhm. But what happens is, so Sukadeva Goswami is telling the history, and then when he comes upon something that is obviously nectar, about one of Krishna's incarnations, then Maharaj Pariksit said, wait, time out, time out, slow down. Tell me about how Krishna appeared as a tortoise, and what was this thing about scratching his back, and he does that again and again and again, and so I was thinking that Maharaj Pariksit is like an essence seeker. He's going through this history of the world, of the universe, and when he comes upon something about Krishna, Krishna's incarnation, something about Bhakti, he wants to hear about that. So that would be another part of simplicity. Prabhupada liked the word straightforwardness. Um, and if we can kind of keep our mind, if we have that simple-heartedness of wanting to hear about Krishna, wanting to chant Krishna's names, wanting to serve devotees, wanting to give those who aren't familiar with Krishna consciousness an opportunity to hear about Krishna, um, that is, I think, when I was thinking about this, a simple way to avoid duplicity. Mm. And just um, become a devotee. So 17 minutes for questions and comments. Is that all right, Ananda Vihari Prabhu? So what are your comments, questions, thoughts on this? I can also, is there anything in the chat? When we rationalize, we tell ourselves rationalize. Yes, Jeffrey, that's right. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Hare Krishna?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful class and very very important subject matter, duplicity. In one sense, it's really not difficult to understand. I am in a fallen condition. I make mistakes, but Krishna is so wonderful that He's reaching out to me and bringing me up. I'm fallen, but Krishna is wonderful. So those are
Mm.
components of humility. And there was another point there.
Well, let's just think about that. I love that point, Prabhu. Thank you so much for bringing that up because that is humility. Humility is not just thinking I'm, self-absorbed. I'm the most fallen. I'm lower than the worm in stool. I'm lower than the stool inside the worm. I'm just so fallen. But it's thinking Krishna is so wonderful and I need his mercy. So what's your second point, Prabhu?
Double-edged sword of humility. One point is that we're just talking about duplicity. Yeah, in the Christian tradition, they say, unless Jesus is the master of all, he's not the master at all. Unless he's the master of all. And Marianne Williamson says the thing, you quote her sometimes. Um, she says, we know we're supposed to surrender, so we surrender this and that and this and that. But my romances, my finances, I better take care of those myself because if I turn those over to Krishna, he might mess them up. Right? So there's a tendency for not to let Krishna be the master of all, or not to let my spiritual master be the master of all. I keep my guru in a box. I let him have a little bit of access to my program. But if we really have master, if he's really the master, then where do you want me to go? Who do you want me to work with? What is my focus? There's the verse in Bhagavad Gita how the devotee his attention is one-pointed.
Mm.
Other people they're splayed out. So the focus, laser sharp, pinpoint focus of, Krishna, I'm yours. I'm yours. Whatever you want,
Wonderful.
let me have it. What's that thing in Isaiah? It says like, "Here I am, Lord, send me."
Yes.
Send me where you want to go. And Prabhupada at first, remember Tamal Krishna Maharaj was saying that Prabhupada said, there was um, some contentiousness, and then Prabhupada said to him, he told us, Tamal Krishna Maharaj told us this. Prabhupada said, therefore you should go to Red China. So he said, but Prabhupada, I have so many vans and so many buses. You don't have anything. You go where I tell you to go, or you don't have anything. None of these things are yours anyway. And he said, I was a good manager, so I managed for 4 years not to go to Red China.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada,
And the funny thing is, he said it in joking the day before. Well, Prabhupada, if you're so upset at me, maybe I should just go to China. He
yeah.
was jokingly.
So he said, I managed not to do it for a long time, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
he said, like a dog running to the end of his leash. He's tied to the post, and he runs, and all of a sudden, he realized, oh my God.
Yeah.
He told me
Very good.
Prabhupada had the same experience. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj told him, go to the West, present us to the English speaking. And Prabhupada, he prepared himself, but he tried to do stuff in India, and he tried this, and he thought, well, I'll do a business, and then I'll make my. And then at one point he said, wait a minute, hold it. I got a very simple, clear instruction. So there's a
Mm.
tendency for us to get the blessings of the spiritual master rather than the instruction of the spirit. We get the permission of the spiritual master rather than the instruction. And Prabhupada said sometimes I don't give people instruction because if they just obey my instruction, it'd be better. So I give
Yeah.
them, I suggested, but he said, but if we want to be really full on, full on, what good is one foot on the boat and one foot on the dock? The boat is moving, so
Mm.
if we want to be full on, then we can say, okay, like in the Bhagavad Gita, there's so many instructions in this kind of sacrifice and the demand. And then at one point, Arjuna says to Krishna, I get it.
Yeah, right.
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Maybe I could go to the forest and I could do this and I could, what do you want? And Krishna says to Arjuna, I am clearly asking you to fight. Fight for me without any desire for gain or safety. Put aside all other considerations and take this laser sharp, single pointed focus of your energy and time and attention and hit the bricks, get the battlefield, take up your sword, right? So that's interesting that we can be nibbling around the edges, but not fully on. And then we don't get the instruction, we get the permission, we get the blessings. But instruction means do this.
Mhm.
We have to be a little,
Yes, and that does take some trust and
a
faith. And
little bit frayed out. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Go,
no,
Gorsi.
no, no. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Other thoughts, comments, questions? So many wonderful devotees on this call. I'm looking at the names.
Men
Yes,
have up.
Min.
Thank you so much for class. Um, well, I first wanted to ask you if you're feeling better, because last time you were here, you had said you had just a stroke.
Um, in the um, what is it? In the wonderful words of James Brown, I feel good.
Ah, amazing. Very nice.
No, I'm feeling okay. It's getting over stroke's not like getting over a cold.
Mm,
It takes some time. Even maybe you've seen that a couple of times in the class I was looking for a word.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the effect of the stroke. But basically, physically, I'm pretty much okay. And in terms of sometimes the mind and the speech, there's still a little delay.
Mm, mm. You sound great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for class. I wanted to ask you about being the well-wisher of others. And
Hmm.
I think it was at the end of story of Dhruva Maharaj where he's going back home and to Godhead. And I think can't be sure, but I think that's where Prabhupada speaks about the characteristic of Dhruva Maharaj being the well-wisher of everyone. And
Because he wanted his mom to go with him.
yeah, and then unless that we become that like that, we really,
Yeah.
it would be difficult for us to go back home. And so I remember thinking, wow, such a important quality for a devotee to possess. So but it is difficult a thing to do, to be a well-wisher of everyone. And so I
Mhm.
wanted to kind of ask if you could kind of connect that with this quality of duplicity that we have within us and how that affects and prevents us from being the well-wisher.
Well, connected in a way that Prabhupada has spoken. He's spoken on both sides of the story, but I'd say the emphasis is more on this side. I'll read you one of his sayings. He says, therefore, when we say that a man who is not Krishna conscious, he is Naradama Mudha, that is a fact. But the world is such that satyam bruyat priyam bruyat, ma bruyat satyam apriyam. They want if you can say the truth, but don't say the unpalatable truth. But that is social etiquette. When you speak about spiritual life, there is no such scope. You must speak this truth. And another time he said, while making propaganda, expose these mudhas. That is one of our services to Krishna. Don't remain foolish. Wherever there is required, fight with these mudhas and tell them rightly, straightforward, you are a mudha. So straight, non-duplicit, or being, or let's say you being straightforward is sometimes seeing somebody is falling off a cliff and grabbing them by the neck. Now we may do it, in a more refined way than we did perhaps sometimes in the 70s, and um, but it is a part of the welfare of others is just seeing, through the eyes of Shastra, just how rare the human form of life is. We kind of read it because Prabhupada mentions it so often in his books, and we sometimes maybe kind of skim over it. But it is, there is this one Indian mathematician who took Prabhupada quotes this, but it's also in other texts, even in Buddhist texts, that the rarity of the human form is, you probably all heard of it, when a turtle sticks its head in above the water in a vast ocean, and there just happens to be a log going by that has a hole in the log, and the turtle's neck goes right through the hole. And then he did the math of how many living entities there must be on just on this one planet, the microbes and the blades of grass and all that. And he came to the conclusion that the human form is even rarer than that example of the ocean. So so when we go out into the world and we see human beings walking around and just like really messing up their human form of life, uh, that that should strike us in some way, and think somehow or other, what are some ways that we can help, um, especially people who've gotten a human form of life, to at least make some connection with bhakti. Now, of course, we're not saying that only the Bhakti Center and ISKCON has monopoly on bhakti. Prabhupada would sometimes be quite liberal about talking about other faiths, but that vision, that Shastra Chakshus, can be really helpful for us in thinking of the welfare of others. Mm. I don't know if that's exactly what you were looking for, me, but that's what struck
Yeah,
me as I.
thank you so much. I think it's what's what it's making me think of your response is that it's important because it helped me to realize, oh, for me to have that vision, or see everyone's life, such a rare, event that takes place
Yeah.
requires that vision to be sort of put on myself and realize that for myself
Yes, yes.
to have that. Okay, so
Apply it in the mirror first.
mm, mm,
Yes.
mm.
Put on, the terrible cliche, put on your oxygen mask first. Yeah, exactly. Maturanath Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. I had a quick comment and then a question. Comment is one thing is to inquire into those people's lives, though, that we're wanting to share with or bring bhakti to. Inquire and listen to them, what's happening in their life, and have empathy, have an understanding. Then people's heart opens up a lot more so that they can hear, and they're they're more available. So that's just,
Well, and let me just comment on that comment before you ask your question. Prabhupada wrote what you said very clearly to Balavanta Prabhu in 1972, when he said that he said he was specifically talking about college preaching at that time. And he said that he gave the example of Lord Chaitanya listening for 7 days and Krishna listening to the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, even though Arjuna was not speaking on the highest level. And then he said, if we if we follow in their footsteps, listen, and he even said, appreciate their point of view. And college students in 1972, their point of view was basically drugs, sex, rock and roll, and Mayavad philosophy. But he said, if you appreciate their point of view gradually, use the word gradually, they will they can come to accept Krishna consciousness. So yes, what you said is uh, is definitely in line with what Prabhupada said to Balavanta Prabhu. Please, your second point.
yeah. Um, The second point is so most of us are grihastas in this movement, high percent, 90 something percent. And so we're all, that means most of us have children, going to have children.
I just became a grandfather. Yeah, I know all about
Yeah,
it.
congratulations. It's fantastic. So, and in this age of like this digital age of distraction and all this high technology that's pulls people in, especially teenagers. And I have an older teenager. I have an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old, and so apart from being patient and being the example oneself in bhakti and like really progressing, being progressive in life and trying to live on purpose, how can we have a positive influence on this age of who's getting so pulled in by this. I have a 20-year-old who, she goes out and does stuff, but then she's in her room, and I know she's on her technology most of the time,
Yeah.
just sucked in by it. And I'm like just sitting, what can I do better? What can I do for her? And I try to have conversations too. Let's talk. I listen to her, connect in that way. But I'm just also seeking out, I'm okay. What's coming up for me as well is praying with everything I've got to
Yeah.
Prabhupada for them. But yeah, give me what you got.
Well, I don't got because it's time to greet the deities, but briefly, it's tough when they're 20 already, right? But my wife, who brought up hundreds of children because she was a school principal, would often tell parents that the main thing is that you are happy in Krishna consciousness, and you set that example because they have kids have an incredible way of knowing when we're not when we're saying duplicity meter. And we're chanting, like my son would see me chanting and looking at my computer, said, Pitta, what are you doing? You know? So, so, that saying, what you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. Then other people, they go on vacations with their kids and they say, we're going to take a 3-day no technology vacation and we're going to leave our phones at home or something. So there's things like that, but it does, our example really speaks loudly even if it speaks loudly when not now, but when they're 30 or 40, but they remember. Best I can do in 1 minute, Prabhu. But thank you for that, Maturna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ananda Bihari, for engaging me in some service.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Is the darshan over? Is Vraj Vihari Prabhu here?
I think we've lost the Bhakti Center and the host or the speaker as well.
Yeah, we're going to feel separation from Krishna and the deities. It's all good. Karen, Isaiah, Annabelle, nice to see you. Do you have questions? Comments? Personal question? I couldn't quite hear that, Karen.
Okay, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did have a personal question earlier when he was speaking about receiving and accepting instructions from your spiritual master. And I was just wondering about for aspiring disciples who like how do you approach and ask and like receive instruction from your spiritual master?
In a humble state of mind. That's what immediately comes to mind. Adipusha Prabhu. Adipusha Prabhu. If one is not yet formally initiated, how do they approach the guru?
We have
Question.
the same situation every day where I'm not in the car yet or out on. If you could just wait till I get to the and actually continue.
Thank you, Adipusha. Let us know when you're in the. Would anyone else like to speak? While we're waiting for Adi?
Oh, sorry.
Can you repeat the question?
Are you ready?
Can you repeat the question, please?
How does one who's not formally initiated approach a guru with a question?
What's the problem? Just say, ask your question. Can I ask you a question? We're available. Krishna provides access to personalities who can answer our questions, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got it. So what's the difficulty is the question. The answer, I mean. Thank you, Adipunshu. We don't want to overthink. If we are humble and getting in their face, there's no problem. We can come and approach them without a problem. Maybe we can make a little offering. Maybe Isaiah can make a drawing, so you can give that offering to them and ask your question. That's a good way to ask. Or a little envelope with a donation to support the preaching mission.
You can.
We don't approach Krishna empty-handed or the Guru. We have to always offer something, at least some kind words.
I was
Thank
thinking,
you.
Karen, that your question was a little different than that, more about like, what is my service? And I'm sure that hearing classes of your teacher, hearing from Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita and Prabhupada's life, and hearing here, you're getting messages all the time. What would be pleasing to the spiritual master? Yeah, kindness, working on oneself, offering your food, chanting your rounds, all those beautiful things. If there's something like very specific, then it's great to ask the spiritual master, but they don't micromanage your life. You know, it's more about the pertinent essence of your love and how to serve, what's going to inspire you.
When people ask questions, we try to tell them what Scripture says. Specifically, Shastra says, Tadvidi Pranipatina, approach the spiritual master and inquire submissively, rendering service. Sometimes people don't inquire submissively. Pseudo questions, weird questions that don't really pertain to answering their own question when they're asking it. Like, you know, it's just like, and it has the form of a question, but it's not really a question. But Krishna, it's a fact. This is a simple fact. Sarvasya chaham mridisanivisto. If we want the truth, Krishna will reciprocate with that. So we have the responsibility and the freedom and the complete potential to ask and really want to know the truth. And Krishna sees that, and Krishna will send, he can speak to you through, just like Bilbo Mangala Thakur heard his spiritual master speak to him through the lips of a prostitute, right? Krishna can speak to you through a child, through a madman, through a voice from the sky, through a dream, through a book, or directly from another devotee. But if we're not sincere, we don't really want the answer. If I have an attachment, I want this answer. I don't want this attachment and aversion. Then even if the guru is right there, we won't be able to hear what he's saying. But if I really want to know what's right, what Krishna wants, Krishna will send some means of getting that message to you simply and clearly, directly. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Also, the principle of inquiring. This is Scripture says yes, inquiring submissively, but Prabhupada also says we should test the guru and see, for like a year, and to see if this is somebody that I can surrender my life to and can give my, accept them as a guru. So we shouldn't test from the place of being offensive, but we may want to ask questions and to understand, if they are, if this is somebody I can surrender my life to or give in service to, and understand where they're at. Because if we do that blindly and if we just kind of are accepting that, oh, they seem like this, but we don't really get to understand more in depth about them, it may be something we regret in the future.
Let us offer a quote from Srila Prabhupada.
You're asking for a quote? Prabhupada said one should test.
I'm offering a quote from Srila Prabhupada. So we're waiting to see if we're willing to hear that. Prabhupada says, ask yourself the question, do I want someone in my life worthy of my complete trust and obedience? If you can ask yourself that question, and if the answer is yes, then Krishna, if there's no Krishna, and you have to figure it out yourself, and you don't have to have the responsibility to be sincere, you're just lost. But Prabhupada said, ask yourself the question, do I want somebody in my life who's worthy of my complete trust and obedience? And if I do, Krishna will send that quality of association. If we want somebody who we have a good excuse not to listen to, and we don't want to surrender our whole life, every aspect of our life to that person, then Krishna will send somebody and go, well, he doesn't really understand me. He doesn't really have my... But that's based on my desire for not a real devotee. Anyway, that's what I heard. That's what I'm sharing. And my thing's doing. I can't hear you. My phone just died. This guy asks the same weird, stupid, sentimental, sappy, wicked.
Hold it, Adi Purusha Prabhu. Your phone hasn't died just yet.
Oh, well, it's a fact.
Hare
We
Hare
and
Hare Krishna, this is Saurabh. I'd like to chime in whenever you guys allow me. Haribol.
go ahead.
Lots of sincere love, devotion, and respects to everyone, including Adi Portia, everyone. Wanted to just chime in and growing up, I was born in India. I'd like to say I'm on this journey for years and years and years, and lifetimes. But growing up in India, there's a lot of gurus, a lot of swamis. Everyone wants to be gurus and swamis. So I think it is extremely important. Of course, you ask Krishna. Krishna leads everything, but at the same time, it's actually happened to me or those close to me where the guru ended up being a complete fraud. But he had so many devotees, so many. You would be surprised, handing over all of their earnings or majority of their earnings, but ultimately he was found to be a fraud. So all I'm saying is you pray to Krishna sincerely, but at the same time, you wanna just make sure that you want to do your due diligence. You want to ask the heart. You want to ask Krishna a million times for his mercy to help you find the right guru. But be a little bit inquisitive, because in India there's a lot of people wanting to be gurus, and there's a saying that says, "Dunya jukti hai jukane wala chahiye." In terms of people are ready to bow down to someone, and there are many that will try to be fraudsters. So you just have to be mindful of that one fact. But Krishna will lead. Everything should be okay as long as our intentions and our love is sincere. I think that is going to work some magic. I don't know. The heart wanted to share that. Lots of love and respect to
I've
all of you.
thank you, Prabhu. I have something here's directly from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said that before accepting a spiritual master, we must test that person for at least 1 year. In that year, it is our responsibility to learn about the qualities and qualifications of a bona fide guru. In Srila Prabhupada's, so now somebody's writing, this is an article, in Srila Prabhupada's words, the guru must know the science of Krishna. This is the test. To become guru, it doesn't matter that one has to come out from a Brahmana family or a High family or Hindu family or this family or that family. No, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ye Krishna Tattva, never mind what he is. He may be European, American, Shudra, or maybe whatever. This is his past. That is the past life. Now, when one has become Krishna Tattva Veta, really Krishna conscious, he comes to the transcendental position. So, when, in other words, before one accepts initiation of a guru, one should be confident that the guru knows the science of Krishna consciousness. And one also wants to see that the guru is in a bona fide disciplic succession, which, of course, in ISKCON, the gurus are. But maybe we're looking outside of ISKCON. So here's some things. And so this is, Adi, that was from Srila Prabhupada, to test the guru for a year. And
All good.
whoever.
All good. All good. The point is,
Oh,
you guru if you want guru.
okay, but I'm here. I'm not trying to torture you. I loved you. I picked up the orthopedic. I said I had to get my mind up. Oh no.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hare Krishna. I think you have a great discussion. I mean, you guys apply very well. But over the years, I went to a lot of great masters, teachers, in this tradition, other tradition. Um, what I seen, like a lot of people sometimes come from outside, not understanding what guru is, and maybe like Adi says, ask questions not in sincere way, but ask questions open-handed, like answering their own questions, which is fine. But I think a lot of people, when it says guru, but not a lot of people understanding qualifications to be a student, like for example, like if you're sincere and you love God, already surrendered, if you care about God and you want God with all your heart, Krishna, God, then of course God will send that guru if you ask. But also you have to understand that if you're seeking somebody and you're resonating with somebody, if you resonate with that person for wholeheartedly, then you're willing to surrender to that person. But also you have to have qualifications as students. I've seen some classes that I go, people just, not only question, but maybe, speak to guru weird way, really to discount that person who they already surrendered at smallest minute thing just because he didn't answer the same way or didn't act the same way. So sometimes guru has a qualification, but the student not ready because he doesn't have qualification as a student. So people shop guru shopping all the time. And yes, in India there's a lot of gurus, but then you have to resonate with that person who you want your guru. But if you're sincere to God, God, yes, will 100% send that person, because at that point you already, one just God alone. The guru is just the icing on the cake at that time because you're already ripe for a guru. And that's my opinion. But yeah, I love the morning's discussions. I'm not always here, but Ananda Bihari, thank you so much. You're amazing, and all of you. Hare Krishna.
One should use their intelligence as well. Does this guru resonate with, with me? Is this somebody that is, I feel, can understand me, and also really, and for me it's like, can they enter my world? Can they be in my world? Do they understand? Do they want to understand me? These are some things also to consider.
Thank you very much, everyone, for staying civil. Bhima Kaviraj. No, hold it. Amrita Kishori Devidasi has been holding her hand up. Amrita Kishori.
Haribo, I hope it's still relative, but I just wanted to share some devotee of my Gurudev shared at the Vyas Puja. After his class at the Bhakti Center, you know how people approach him to greet him and speak with him individually, and he did too. And asked Guru Maharaj, do you have any instructions for me? And Maharaj said, why aren't you listening to my class? So whatever the content of the class was, he didn't share, but I think Karen asked, how can a non-initiated devotees can receive instructions? So one is through listening to class, just like Krishna Kumar said. So I thought that might be relevant for her and her question. Haribo.
Thank you very much, Amrita Kishori. That's a great point. Srila Prabhupada says, I am in my books. So, and sometimes, when we approach a guru saying, what is my service? But what about the classes? What about the books? It's all there. It's like we're saying, forget the classes, forget the books, give me my unique service. What is it? I'm excited. So that's not the mood. The classes are there for that reason. So we can take in the instructions. The instructions are there in classes, in books, in festivals. And sometimes there will be other services. It will all come naturally if we're sincere, if we try to serve submissively with the local devotees that we live with, then everything will fall into place by Krishna's arrangement. Hare Krishna. Bhima Prabhu, followed by Saurabh Prabhu, who will be the finisher today. Bhima Kaviraj,
Yeah.
please stay poetic, okay?
What's that?
Stay poetic.
If I try, then it won't be. I'm looking out. Sorry, I guess I'm going to lapse into it. I'm looking out my window at my son's garden, the one that produces all that nice produce for Adi's Prashadam distribution. And he, would learn from videos, learn the teaching methods of small market farmers and organic and regenerative farmers. He would learn these instructions, and then, of course, he would read, do a lot of reading, a lot of books, and of course, experience going out there and actually planting, weeding, timing, harvesting, etc. And importance on the weeding. You can plant these things, that the creeper of devotional service, but if you're not paying attention to what's going on inside you, so ultimately the ultimate responsibility is not on. This isn't a cult of personality, okay? But simultaneously, this is a cult of personality because it's the culture of Krishna's personality. So we understand that the truth is one, guru is one, whether you find him in the wind, in the pines. There, a poet, Thomas Merton, said, no prayer has ever equaled the sound of the wind in the pines. So we see that this guru that we have to surrender to is actually just an external manifestation of the guru within, Chitta Guru, which is Paramatma in the heart, which is the most intimate form of that we have of Krishna right now, prior to, of course, clearing, our hearts and seeing Krishna face to face. Prior to that, we have Krishna in the heart. And that if we, like my son with his garden, pay close attention to what needs to be done, be willing to do the work, be willing to weed, be willing to know when there is a time to rise and a time to sleep and a time to chant and a time to eat. When we realize all these things, then we understand that we don't have to ask ourselves about which institutionalized guru or which true self-effulgent guru, like Radhanath Maharaj, like Srila Prabhupada, like so many others in the movement. They're out there. There's no doubt. But if we pay attention and understand it is our responsibility, not someone outside you, because you will always find someone to blame. You will find a shortcoming in any guru you look at, even Srila Prabhupada. If you're out there to criticize him, because, you have the internet, you can see that everybody finds fault with everybody, no matter how pure they are. There's people today finding fault with Jesus Christ. In fact, the atheists find fault with God himself, so to speak. So if you're looking for it, then you'll find it, even in pure devotees, because Maya will feed you. Krishna will allow you to do that. But if you look in yourself and find out, where are the weeds growing? And am I giving this virtue enough sun? Am I giving this virtue enough water? Am I fertilizing this virtue, that I need to develop in order to develop, the qualities of a devotee? Because after all, that's what our goal is. And that would be most pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, to Krishna, and to our Guru. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Saurabh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Bhima Prabhu, that was beautiful. You kind of said everything that needed to be said. But yeah, definitely, I was just going to say, from the heart, everything leads from the heart. That is exactly where Krishna resides. That's exactly what Bhima Prabhu said. If we lead from the heart, and it should be a very, very, there shouldn't even be a decision to make. You should know when the guru is there. Um, and the other thing I was also going to add is, again, I keep going back to show lots and lots of love, devotion, and respect to all of the devotees, whether we agree with them or not, whether they're asking some questions multiple times or not. Sometimes show love, show respect. I was often lately thinking, I'm telling myself, but as I get older, I want to be able to listen to my daughter, and I'm sure she's gonna say things that I won't agree with, but I have to have the mindset that I can learn from my daughter, whether she's 3 years old, 10 years old, whether she's seen more Diwalis than me or not. I was thinking Ram could be reincarnation of Krishna. We don't know. We have to look. There you go. I always ask for his blessing when I see him. We don't know where the wisdom is gonna come from, so we have to stay grounded. Krishna is in every single heart. Anandi Devi, lots of love and respect to you, right? So every single one of you, that was what I wanted to say. That's what the heart wanted to say. Would you like me to recite the Mahamantra, Anandi Bihari?
Yes, please, Prabhu. Absolutely.
Okay. This one we're showing some love to Ananda Bihari. Radhe Radhe Japo Chal Aayenge Bihari. Radhe Radhe Japo Chal Aayenge Bihari. Radhe 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 Japo Chal Aayenge Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Saurabh Prabhu, for filling our hearts with love, respect, and devotion. Always. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Anandi, we hope you feel better. We love you. You are an inspiration. Your steadiness, your sincerity. Ekadashi is tomorrow, Anandi, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So let's all fast for Krishna tomorrow. Thank you very much, Vraj Vihari Prabhu, for the wonderful class. Thanks everyone for your participation, especially Amrita Kishori Devidasi. She spoke today. She doesn't do it often, but when she speaks, it's always in line. It's always accurate and inspiring and uplifting. Thank you, Amrita Kishori. Thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Happy Thursday. We love you and we need you. Come again tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Isaiah, Annabelle, behave, okay? Behave.